Acknowledgement of country. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. I would also like to pay my respects to elders past, present and future. I am Nomad. Look out for trivia questions in this video. The presenters for this episode are Nomad, Robbie and Elena. We will be discussing early immigration. Please note, in this episode, the last 3 trivia questions will appear. More on this later. We have covered a lot of information which looked into the basics from the start of your journey. A quick recap. Our source documents are the foundations of your research. These were our birth, marriage and death certificates for you, your parents and your grandparents. Gathering the necessary information from these documents and recording the details to our research logs. We did this so you get used to using a research log as your roadmap. Hopefully, this will keep you on track with your research and understand the log's importance. Our adventure took you through a lot of available Australian records and where to locate them. We looked at Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, First Fleeters, convicts, and rabbit holes. We went through the slow process of creating a handwritten chart. From here in, we will be referring to the digital age to record your research as we discussed in our last episode. Whether you are using your own database on your own computer or something online via the main websites that are available, you need to remember it is your choice what you use. Before we dive into immigration records, we need to realize the majority of Australians will have ancestors who arrived on these shores from overseas. As you'd be aware, there are exceptions to this, and in particular relate to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders.
The other issue we will raise is, we will be covering early immigration. There will be many new Australians who arrived after World War II and onward. Australia is a multicultural nation. Some of the best ways to find out details of recent arrivals is to ask your relatives questions. We will leave this here. Everyone will have a different situation. There would be too many to discuss. As we have said, ask questions so as to point you in the right direction and where to go next. You will need to locate the details required to source and cite your research. Now, we will be looking at Australian immigration records that are available. We will be discussing the process of how you delve into these records. We will also discuss how you locate information to know when your ancestor may have arrived. Then, where to go to from here. We need to establish a starting point. Once you have established a starting point, you will be able to continue with your research.
Okay, let's look at how you work out when an ancestor arrived in Australia. We will be using my grandfather as the example. The main reason for using him is that it continues on from our last episode where we became aware that he was born in the UK. We looked at his marriage certificate and it states he was 23 in 1935. Using our calculations, 1935 minus 23 places him born around 1912. The place of birth is shown as Blow Norton, Norfolk. Guess what we would use here? We also looked at his eldest son's birth certificate. It gives his age as 24. This gives us that he's born around 1911. If we had his death certificate, it would have stated how long he'd been residing in Australia up to the point when he died. How to resolve the issue? There was a family story that my grandfather was one when he travelled to Queensland. So our starting point would be either 1912 or 1913. An interesting fact, we can use his parents who were named on his marriage certificate. Therefore, we have 3 people we can look for in our search, both parents and the 1-year-old male. We began our search using Find My Past to locate the immigration details by travel and migration records. We located the family plus 4 other siblings who departed London, England on 26 October 1912 on board the ship Waipara, bound for Townsville, Queensland. From here, we will delve into the Queensland shipping records. We have copied a snippet of the details of the passenger list taken from Find My Past.
As you move forward with your research, you need to establish where your ancestors arrived in Australia. Once you know this, you can check out the records in the relevant state. Most of this covers free settlers and assisted immigrants. Amongst the mix, we have the First Fleeters and convicts, who we discussed in a previous episode. If you have been following along with this series, you would realize each state has its own record sets which are usually available in their state library or their state archives. Note: Australia's federation began in 1901, and the National Archives may not be the best place to research if your ancestors arrived before 1901. Also, the Australian Capital Territory does not have records since there is no direct immigration into this territory. We will discuss the states that have immigration records. Some jurisdictions' records are difficult to navigate, and some may not even be indexed. As we always say, it pays to look around a site as you never know what you may find. We will now go through each state so you know what may be found. Remember, when you are looking for your ancestor, you do need that starting point, so you know which state to use in your search.
In the New South Wales State Archive collection, start with immigration and shipping information which can be filtered by guides, indexes, articles, and webinars. Scroll down to view what is available in this section. In our example, we selected Assisted Immigrants Index 1839 to 1896. Search the index. A list is shown. Our search was James Anderson. Select Details to view the record details. For the Northern Territory records, start at the Northern Territory government website. You cannot search directly for shipping and immigration. Scroll down the page to How to Search. There are 5 areas, but it is difficult to know where to start. As we usually say, explore and hopefully you find the results you are looking for.
For Queensland, visit the Queensland State Archives and do a search on passenger lists. Scroll down the page and make the selection from those shown. Our example, we selected Assisted Immigration 1848 to 1912. Selecting from the alphabetical section, another page is available where you can download a CSV type file that would open in Excel. From here, you would search for the record in your research question. Note: you can save the file to your computer.
When visiting the South Australian Archives, we began at Migration and Crew. However, we suggest you check out the passenger lists 1845 to 1940, as a full set of digitized records that are sorted by year are available. When you arrive on the landing page, scroll down so you can search passenger lists by name or by arrival year or arrival port. Our suggestion is to have a look around the site and decide what is easiest for you to locate your desired result. For Tasmania, you begin at the Libraries Tasmania, select Family History. You are taken to the Search the Tasmanian Names index page. From here, we selected Arrivals and Departures. On the left-hand side under Introduction, select what is online. There are Guides and Records series online. Back to the left-hand side, select what else is there. Here you are presented with a list of available records which appear are not digitized. This site isn't easy to find your way around. We went back to the Tasmanian Names Index, and then the record series included in the index. Hopefully your research question will give you clues to where you may find what you are looking for.
For Victoria, start out at the Public Records Office Victoria and explore the collection. Select Explore Archives by topic. Scroll down to Passenger Records and Immigration. From here, scroll down again to make a choice. In our example, we selected Assisted Passenger Lists. Scrolling down on the landing page to How do I Search and follow the instructions. From your research, you would know when your ancestor arrived in Victoria and maybe the name of the ship. Now, search by name, family, or first, ship, and the between dates. Then hit Search to locate the record details. Begin at the Western Australia State Records Office, search the State Archives collection. Scroll down and select Learn how to search our catalog. You will land on the Accessing the State Archives collection page, then scroll down. On the right-hand side, under Popular Topics, locate the passenger lists and immigration. Once you are on this page, scroll down on the landing page. In our example, we selected passenger indexes. To the far right, you will see Show More. Select this and you will be given lots of detail on what you can do next. Note, there are no indexes to search. However, you can purchase indexes from the Western Australian Genealogical Society. Other sites to check out for immigration records. As we have said, look around a site, as you never know what you may find. Explore and discover. In the Australian National Archives, you can locate passenger arrival records in the Immigration and Citizenship section. The Australian National Library has good family history guides, which will lead you to shipping and passenger records.
As you would be aware, we used Find My Past in the previous episode to locate the passenger list for my grandfather and his parents. The other websites we previously mentioned, Ancestry, Family Search, and MyHeritage, are worth checking out their record collections. There are many ways you can locate information. Begin with a search and ensure you write what you have been doing on your research log. A step-by-step approach in case you need to locate the record later.
Again, a lot of information to take on board. Hopefully, you will be able to locate the records you are looking for to achieve your goal. Remember, when you are doing the research for any ancestor to keep your research logs updated, you do not want to be going over old ground when you are researching. This wastes a lot of time when you find out you had already previously viewed the record.
This episode is the last in the Australian series. We do hope that you have enjoyed the adventure. As announced, the last 3 trivia questions have appeared in this episode. There have been 39 questions throughout the series. Some of these require a true or false response. We now advise that you have about a month to get your responses to us. It will close on 31 August 2026.
The answers to the trivia will be posted in our episode published on the 9th of September. We will also provide a source for each answer, allowing you to check the answers for yourself. Results of the trivia will be announced in the following episode on the 23rd of September, when the winner is announced. You can enter from anywhere in the world. To enter, use our template which is attached here. Fill in your answers and please ensure your answers are legible. Email your completed form to us. Our email address is in the description.
Now to next time. We will be discussing stories and how you can write them with context. These stories are not just about names, dates, and places. We will be explaining how we arrived at the end product. We will provide details on how the story was compiled. Our first story will relate to immigration. So that is it for now. Do not forget to download the template so you can be a part of the fun. Enjoy, and see you in 2 weeks. With all of us here, we would be delighted for you to join our family. I am sure you know the drill. Click like, subscribe, and of course, please make a comment.